called. I just call it the backward spin, but it was created by Richard Bandler, and it's his new set of tricks. It's neurohypnotic repatterning is his new stuff. And it sounds very impressive because if he were to say something like, well, you take the feeling and do the opposite, he wouldn't be able to really sell that. So it's neurohypnotic repatterning. And basically it's an awesome technique that is fast, fun, and takes about a minute to do. So I've used this technique for maybe 3 or 4 years. I've messed with it, I've broken it, into pieces. I've reconstructed it, deconstructed it, flipped it around, and you can just take the idea of this and then continue to play. So it's a technique that takes a fear, a negative feeling, and it basically tracks the way it's moving. Then you dissociate from that, you flip it upside down, you bring it back in, and you totally mess with the structure of that state. And then you mess with it a little further by adding laughter. So that's it. You can leave now.
We're done now, huh? Thank you, Melissa.
So it's beautiful, it's simple, and you can use it with almost every client, okay? Because initially it was taught to me for fears and phobias. After using it with people, once people feel this, they then walk out with it. They can use it on their own. So people were coming back to me, and they would say, oh, that thing you told me, I was about to freak out on my son, and all of a sudden I noticed it was spinning. And I did that, and I started to laugh. Because what you do when you're working with this is you anchor in a state of laughter. But you also make people aware, and they're in control of things that they maybe might not have thought they had control over the whole time. So in the same way that when we slow stuff down and say, well, how is it you're making yourself feel that? And they'll notice they make a picture, or they hear a sound, or, there's a strategy there. And when you find out the strategy, you can interrupt it in 3 different places now. So you can change that, you can change this, or you can change this. Now, a lot of us know how to do things like that visually and auditorily, but this is a good one because it's a kinesthetic that most people can find. It's there, especially after I set it up. Then it's always there. So even though it's very simple and very easy, I find in my experience that when real change happens, it is simple. It's that aha moment. It's that something just hits and you see it differently and you're changed. Change doesn't usually happen after 10 years of psychotherapy. Maybe it happened in spite of that, but it happened that one moment where all of a sudden you went, and you see it. So even though it's simple, and sometimes we have to, make it more complicated just so that people accept the fact that it's